It all started on the 13th hour of the 13th day of the 13th month. We were there to discuss the misprinted calendars the school had purchased.
Oh, lousy smarts weather.
Hello, you're listening to Good Brews, Bad Views, the podcast that asks if great beer makes bad movies any better. I'm your host, a man who spent the entirety of his winter break etching Latin phrases onto panes of glass, Max Nestorowicz. And as always, joined by my two Ghost Hunter co-hosts, James Thorpe.
Hello.
And Ryan Everhart.
I have spilled salt all around me and don't know what to do about it.
Get a broom and dustpan.
Keeps the ghosts out, though.
And we have a very special guest. It is our local Matthew Lillard appreciator, Claire Higginbottom, returning to the podcast for the I don't know what numbers time.
When do I get a free sub?
Good
When
question.
Do you come over?
Do you have the punch card?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Lemon Lillard.
I'm just here for King Lillard.
King Lillard. Yeah, we're gonna have Claire just to stand for Matt Lillard the whole time, which is great.
And be spooky.
Yeah. So we've taken a slight audible in our January recording plans. James, why don't you explain what we're doing today, as this was your idea.
So Ryan suggested another movie that we're not doing today that had the term 13 in it. So we have audibled to 13 Ghosts because, in truth, January 2021 is just the 13th month of 2020.
Yes. Perfect.
Yep. So how this podcast is going to work is we are going to be watching 13 Ghosts, the 2001 version, not the 1960s version. We are going to be drinking some beer alongside of it, and we're going to be making some observations about what we like, what we don't like, a commentary track, if you will, about this 2001 supernatural horror film.
Spoiler alert, my list of things I do not like is going to be very small.
Good.
That's another reason why I invited Claire onto this episode, because I know that she just adores this movie.
I
Fantastic.
do so much.
So the podcast is designed to be listened to alongside watching the movie, but in the event that you're just here for the audio experience, we're going to be doing our best to narrate what's happening on the screen so you can follow along at home while you're doing other things. Anything you guys want to add before we get this spook show on the road?
Nope.
Lillard
Baker's
forever.
spooks.
Lillard forever, my king.
Michigan's he's the Michigan Sun, so you know.
He is. So he couldn't get any more perfect.
Ryan, why don't you tell the folks at home where they can tune their disc, their stream, etc., or maybe VHS tape?
For sure.
If they want to watch along.
Yeah, do it on VHS for sure.
Yes.
Well, we are once again leaning on Amazon Prime to stream this gem today. Just a quick side note, if you don't have the time or desire to listen to our full commentary today, please check the episode description for the timestamp where you can jump to just to kind of catch up on all of our wrap-up thoughts on the movie, the film, and calming Claire down, as I'm sure she's going to be strung up so high by the end of this. So we'll see.
What's that supposed to mean, Ryan?
Take out of that what you will. But we have our stream paused just after the Warner Brothers logo has faded from the screen. For us, that's 19 seconds in. So if you're going to watch along at home, press play now. Ooh, spooky. I really wanted this little Dark Castle intro to be the seal of quality for horror movies in the aughts. I really wanted this to be something that I could count on, and I was wrong. I was so wrong.
This isn't our first Dark Castle Entertainment film. They also did Ghost Ship.
Exactly.
Yes.
And same director, too. It's the only 2 feature films he directed, and I love both of them.
So we've
we're
got. Go ahead, Max.
I would say we're opening on the junkyard from Nightmare on Elm Street 3 or 4.
Yep. I do like the font, actually. I think it's a neat font. As far as our feelings on fonts go.
I enjoy the font as well.
Yes.
We got a big ass truck, guys.
Or a regular sized truck by 2021 standards.
Yeah.
Just plowing through the gate into the junkyard here. It is nighttime.
It's an FO50.
Boo. And then we got a little truck behind it. And then
Baby
a little
trucks.
van.
It's got babies in tow.
Baby truck. Do.
If it gets too cold outside, the baby trucks drive onto the back of the big truck to stay warm.
Where'd you get that? It fell off the truck. Where'd you get that? It fell off the truck.
Yeah. It fell off the truck that fell off the truck.
Everything I say is a Simpsons reference. I apologize.
So we got some.
Mobile
Paranormal investigator guys.
The old-timey Nazi mobile.
When I did that spooky overnight in the asylum, I got to use a lot of ghost hunting equipment, and that was pretty neat.
Nice. You know what? I should do one of those excursions just to kind of, I don't know, audit the electronics. So
I was going to say,
as
was
an electromagnetic compatibility engineer, I have things to learn.
We
Was
got
it just an
Willard.
Etch-a-Sketch
We got
hooked up?
Willard.
Yeah.
Is it an Etch-a-Sketch hooked up to a light bulb?
Right.
Yeah,
Genius.
so here we have Matthew Lillard in a Knives Out sweater.
Yes. Sweater. I've seen this guy too. Fuck, what the hell is the character's name?
Cyrus?
Cyrus Criticus, yeah.
Yep. That's F. Murray Abraham.
Yeah, F. Murray Abraham.
He's the old man in Grand Budapest Hotel.
Ah, that's what it is. Yep, he's the old version of
Zero.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Excellent fucking movie, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Also, fun fact about this movie, it's the first film from like a major American studio with 3 Arab American leads, because it has Tony Shalhoub, F. Murray Abraham, and Shannon Elizabeth.
Oh, neat.
It's kind of cool.
Good on you, WB.
Yeah.
Way to do the bare minimum.
Yep.
So we're learning...
Especially as this came out like October 26, 2001, so wouldn't be that many Arabs in an American film for quite some time.
Why
Well,
is
just not
that, Max?
Just not in a leading role.
Yeah.
Yeah, not in a positive portrayal.
Yeah, in a very specific type of role. That.
Yeah.
So we just learned that Matt Lillard's character has some sort of like
Brainworms.
Yeah, he's got brainworms.
No. He has psychic powers.
Yes. Gets distracted by the high action of cars being dropped. But yeah, he's got psychic spooky powers and can like sense spirits. A medium. That's kind of the word I was searching for. He's a medium.
Would you say that his powers are rare, but he's a medium?
I love that joke. I really like it. So a moment ago, we learned that they're here looking for a spooky ghost. That Matt Lillard's character was told the ghost only killed 9 people, but he senses more than 40 dead things. It's already going off the rails.
Mm-hmm.
The ghost rails.
Yes. Ghost Train. Is there a Ghost Train movie? There's got to be a Ghost Train movie.
I'm pretty sure there is a Ghost Train movie.
But I want the Ghost Train movie to be specifically a sequel to Ghost Ship, because they make a whole big deal about sea law, so I want there to be like rail law.
I propose a counter, which is that Ghost Train would you say Ghost Train?
Yes.
Ghost Train is a sequel to Soul Plane.
What?
There you go.
Does it still have Snoop Dogg?
Yes.
Did you guys ever see the movie Soul Plane? Nope. All right, well, we'll just make a sequel about ghosts then, I guess.
Yeah. It'll be Snoop Dogg as the boatsman from the River Styx.
Guys, they just said 13 Ghosts. We can roll credits. We heard the title of the movie.
Yep. And it's over.
This is not a Will Smith movie. He doesn't have to declare the title of the movie while we're watching it.
So now the big bad guy, presumably, says they have to bring out the bait. And we're discovering that the bait is the giant truck just spraying blood over the entire junkyard.
Which is a great scene. I really
yeah.
like
Yeah, this is
scene.
really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Particularly because Lillard's just like, no.
And this is one of the scenes that I think the movie does really well, just in concept. It's leaning into something just a little goofy and a little knowingly silly, but just very. It's a very horror thing to do, and just just kind of really going for it.
Yeah,
it fits this movie.
My favorite way to picture this movie is that they did not give Matthew Lillard a plot or a script, and it's just him reacting to things, because so many of his reactions are just like pure, what the hell is going on, and it's delightful.
It's like me when I was watching Nothing But Trouble last night. Wait, what? What is
Wait,
happening?
You finally watched Nothing But Trouble, and you did it without me?
Yes. And also, yes.
I told you Claire was going to be strung up by the end of this.
Yeah, just for a different reason than you expected.
But why male models?
So after the spooky truck sprayed blood everywhere, the crew started playing Latin recordings, and we all know Latin is only evil, can only be used for evil in horror movies.
Well, I mean, the Romans used it, so.
Well.
And this ghost just starts wrecking face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people are getting sucked up into cars and shit.
What you don't know is that evil is actually an acronym for every villain is Latin.
Oh, there it is. Well done,
in
Claire.
Cars.
Trademark Claire H. Anyone who uses that joke owes her a fee.
Yeah. What's cool here is we don't see the ghost yet. I like that.
Yeah, we saw him briefly.
Glasses.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
This is a scary movie too.
Yeah, I mean, you get a glimpse of him, right? But it's not like
just the flashes. Yeah,
it's not
the flashes.
It's not a constant figure that you see
right
on screen at all times.
Yeah, so many people are just getting annihilated by this ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He's like a Frankenstein type frame. It's just a big tall ghost in like a gray jumpsuit.
Yeah.
Or a gray mechanic's outfit or something.
And that guy that got trapped in the cube with him got destination fucked.
Yeah.
I was gonna say ghosted, but that also works.
I mean, kind of the same thing. Oh, we got Lillard showing emotion. Oh, we don't deserve him.
So the spoilers. That's for me one of the high points of the movie has been this opening scene. It doesn't really kind of meet this level of entertainment for me for much of the rest of the runtime, but still some good stuff. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
So
it comes out swinging. I agree with you, Ryan, and sets a tone that the rest of the movie does struggle to meet. I think there's a couple sequences that do, but nothing for as long as this does.
Yeah,
and Cyrus is dead.
Yes, we see Cyrus's corpse on the ground with a giant sheet of metal through his neck. So that went poorly for him. So now we've got
protect your neck. You must protect your neck.
Yes, timeless
my
advice.
Neck, my back, my anxiety attack.
So we've got Shannon Elizabeth here playing in presumably her family's backyard with her little brother. So this is Shannon Elizabeth's second appearance on the podcast, is it not? Because she was in Jack Frost.
Oh gosh!
Oh god, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She was fucked to death by a snowman. Yeah. That was her first movie.
And then she was inescapable for like a period of 5 years.
Yeah.
She was also in we did not watch Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I was thinking of Dude, Where's My Car?
I do love Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back though. I catch myself singing like the fuck song a lot.
I think I only saw that movie once and it was in the theater. I remember liking it. So we're getting this opening credit sequence is really cool actually.
Yep.
So we're getting a very slow circular pan around the family's home with some voiceovers. We're hearing a fire. The house is burning down in the audio. And as the camera rotates, we're going to see it slowly decay into the
Yes.
the final decrepit remains that were left behind.
I like it a lot.
Shannon Elizabeth's career.
Yeah, because it's a lot of exposition, but it's not being like ham-fisted.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fairly organic way to kind of do it. I like it. Yeah.
It establishes what
Mhm.
has happened here.
Yeah, I like it this way, not being like, "Hey, remember when your mom died in a fire?" Like,
Yeah.
Remember that trauma?
The audience sure doesn't, because we
here's the
didn't know
thing:
it.
do you remember that trauma? Is my brain every day at 2 a.m.
Yeah, it's just trying to go to sleep every night, basically. So, dare I say that this movie has the best? Hold on, produced by Robert Zemeckis. Crazy. This movie has the best fonts overall. This movie wins
font.
Best Fonts
Good
Award.
fonts. Yeah, good fonts.
I'm a fan of the fonts.
Do we need to start like keeping
Font
track
fan.
of all this
No.
for
Never.
cleaning out the fridge?
No.
Best fonts?
Yep.
No, I don't think so. Okay, so something that annoys the shit out of me, and this is so stupid, but so we're seeing a wall covered in all these past due bills. Every single past due bill from every company has the same blue rubber stamp. So is it one guy? Does every company in the world send their bills to this one guy who stamps them all? Or does in this universe is there only one past due stamp that exists?
And here comes the pedantic nature of Good Brews, Bad Views.
Right.
The standard issue stamp.
But it's the same color.
Standard issue stamp.
It's because debt
What-
collection agencies are terrible people, and they all it's all from one debt collection agency.
Mm.
Is
All right,
this
what-
little kid the original true crime podcaster?
Yeah, he rules.
Possibly.
This kid's
yeah.
adorable.
I love Dunkin' Donuts too. Dunkin' Donuts is
Mm.
good donuts. Or good coffee.
Yeah, it's good. Like, I sometimes just catch myself craving it. And there are like really good donuts in Ann Arbor, Ipsy area, but sometimes I just like want a shitty Dunkin' donut.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. I will stick with the coffee portion. Their coffee is so smooth and just like I just want to have just a coffee.
Yeah,
I
their
don't need anything.
cold brew is top notch. It's like better
They-
than fancy coffee cold brew sometimes, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
much cheaper.
I'll
Much
get behind
cheaper.
a Dunkin' cold brew.
So the current post-fire family unit is the father, the older sister, the young boy, and the housekeeper?
Yep.
Which, like, she's not doing a very good job. Let's be real. This
No.
house is disgusting.
Yep.
So like, I focused a little too much on like how this family exists, right? So Tony Shalhoub's character is a math teacher. What does the daughter do? Why can't the daughter watch the kid? And how does a math teacher afford a fucking housekeeper?
Yeah, well, he clearly
Death
can't
payouts.
because everything on his bulletin board is a rubber
Just
stamped past due bill.
Yeah, he's paying his housekeeper because he's a good guy. He's sticking it to corporate America.
Mm.
Socialist Shalhoub.
He should
That's his version of eating the rich.
Yep.
he should start a company that makes red past due stamps. So he's got no competition.
Okay, so a lawyer just showed up at the apartment. I feel like we should note that.
Right. Yeah. After an interestingly placed slow-mo scene of the lawyer walking down a backlit hallway, which was actually, I mean, I'm not going to say cool, but it was moderately
it was moody.
interesting. Yeah.
In ways to introduce a lawyer, it's unique.
Mhm.
Cyrus Criticos is a cool name.
So, F. Murray Abraham's character Cyrus, who died in the opening, is now revealed to be Tony Shalhoub's uncle.
Mm-hmm.
Not the fun kind of uncle.
So we just missed actually a pretty good joke. Because they're like, we didn't know we had an uncle. And Tony Shalhoub's like, yeah, everyone hated him in the family because he squandered the family fortune. And then they're like, oh yeah, but yeah, where's the fortune? Why can't we have it? And he's like, well, he squandered it. That's why we're mad at him.
I think squandered is a really underrated word, by the way.
Agree.
Mm-hmm. Like defenestrate.
Right. So we've got a really bizarrely creepy "I'm dead" like will video.
The background of that video
Yeah.
cracks me
Yeah.
up.
This feels like a bad guy cutscene in like Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego?
Yeah.
This is something straight out of Command and Conquer.
Yeah,
Mm.
240p video scene.
I'll go to the place they'll never find me. Or that hasn't been named yet.
Nice.
The worst thing. Look that up if you ever want to see the greatest full motion video in the history of video games.
That's Tim Curry, isn't it?
Tim Curry.
Tim
yes.
Curry.
Yeah. Well, the first time I played Red Alert 3, and I was like, "That's fucking Tim Curry. This is officially my favorite video game."
Ray Wise is the president in Red Alert 2.
Oh wow.
That was my
Red-
introduction to Ray Wise.
Red Alert has just some great stuff in it. It's
Mhm.
it's so much better than it deserves.
Yep.
Look at that spooky fucking background. Like that's ridiculous. It's like a loading screen for Doom.
Yeah. Or like a Diablo clone.
Yeah.
So the video, Will, says that they are going to inherit a house.
Yep, they were just showing a bunch of pictures of the different various rooms of the giant place.
Yeah. So
I'll
No
see you
such thing as a
soon.
free house.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you guys drinking?
Oh, dude, I was hoping you were going to ask me that. I want to start because this is actually a gift from you, Mr. Metz. This is one of the City Built Brewing Company beers that you gave me, which have been phenomenal. I'm drinking Cyberpunk, the mango gummy bear sour.
Yes,
from
good.
this new brewery in Grand Rapids, right?
Mhm.
This is fucking delicious. I love it. The really well balanced, not too sour, which I was a little worried about with the gummy bear sour. I just imagine like Sour Patch Kids, but this is real good. And I love. I think I texted you. I love the fucking art. Like the label is textured.
Oh
and it
yeah,
looks
they're all
gorgeous.
all the cans are embossed and stuff.
Oh, it's so cool. There's 10 out of 10. Everything. Presentation, taste. This is phenomenal. Sorry. Onward.
No, that was good. Max gave me one of those too, and it was. My sentiments are the same as yours, Ryan. I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, I
Sounds
couldn't remember
tasty.
if you drank one of those in the podcast last time or 2 times ago.
I've drank 2 of them on the podcast, I think.
Okay. Who can say? Many beers are being drank.
Yeah. The Katie is now no longer in Grand Rapids, so I don't have an easy way to get that from the brewery anymore.
Dang.
Mm-hmm. So over on my end, I'm drinking the last beer from my Three Floyds haul that I got earlier last year. I have Behemoth, a barley wine. I picked this beer because I originally was going to drink it on New Year's, but based off of what I was doing, the beers of choice changed. And also, Behemoth sounds like the name of one of the ghosts from the house.
It does.
Oh,
it
yeah.
does.
Yep.
So, it is a nice barley wine. It's not too malty. It's pretty easy drinking thus far. We'll see how I feel about this as the episode goes on. I'm not going anywhere today, so Gideon is taking the wheel.
There is no such thing as too malty, Max. So that's. I mean, we don't have
All
to
right,
worry about
no such thing as too hoppy.
that.
So this house is immediately terrifying.
Oh yeah. No.
No, it is not
Shannon
beautiful,
Elizabeth's
Shannon
like,
Elizabeth.
it's beautiful.
No, it's not.
I want to see the McMansion Hell post about this house.
This is not a McMansion house. This is the opposite of what a McMansion would be.
It is hell, though.
Yes, I mean that's fair.
So
The
Matt
power
Lillard's
guy.
character is here, obviously pretending to be the power guy. The whole tri-quad area has lost power because of this house.
I'd let him check my breakers if you know what that means.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Claire and James, what do you guys got on your end?
Go ahead, Claire.
Because I'm a fancy, boring old lady, I am just drinking a Gosling's Diet Ginger Beer straight up.
Nice.
No booze, but maximum deliciosity.
That's what matters.
Deliciosity.
I am finishing off my holiday ales from New Holland, which have been featured by both, I think, you and me on this podcast already, right? but it's good enough to come back. So
Agree.
highly endorsed.
Mm-hmm.
Now we've
I'm
got some
trying-
fucking like Narnia key and lock system here.
Yeah, Mr. Tumnus.
Yeah, that is odd. Good work, daughter. He raised you
None
right.
of
It's a
None
Rube
of this is
Goldberg
okay.
devices of locks.
So what the house looks like from the outside is it's about 50% spooky clear windows with Latin written on it, and then just brown squares on the other 50%. Just crazy looking. It looks like
Mhm.
art. It does not look like a place you would live.
no.
No, it looks like something you would see in Marvin's Mechanical Museum.
Yeah.
Gotta love
hope-
that Marvin's.
Yeah, I hope
Mhm.
they survive.
Yeah.
I know they're back open with like masks and social distancing.
Oh,
They did
good.
They did a GoFundMe earlier and it got funded. So I think
Oh, good. Yeah, I
They're-
shared the shit out of that link. I threw a bunch of money at them, so I'm glad they made it.
I need to check to see if Pinball Pete's like how their GoFundMe's doing. Because I donated to that one. Because if we lose Pinball Pete's, I'm gonna be very upset.
Yeah.
Do you guys have
Fucking-
one of those in Ann Arbor also?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because there's one in Ann Arbor and one in East Lansing.
Right. All math teachers know Latin.
Yeah.
I did appreciate that this movie didn't just unnecessarily sex up Shannon Elizabeth's character and just like make her dress ridiculously. It's just normal clothes, which small thing, but I appreciate it.
I mean, they do show her in the bath at one point.
Yeah, kinda.
That's 2 for 2 on appearances of Shannon Elizabeth and Shannon Elizabeth in the bath.
Also true.
I think they went all in on the sexy on like which ghost is it? Angry Princess?
Oh yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's the one.
Yeah, on the DVD for this, there's like an entry for all the different ghosts and backstories and
That's
And it's
all
cool.
of that.
fascinating.
That's
I've
really
watched
cool.
it several times.
Yeah, that's one of the things I very much appreciate about physical media is all like the extra stuff and whatever.
Yep.
Like
Mhm.
several years ago, when Blockbuster was closing, a buddy of mine bought me a copy of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, but it's the rental copy. So none of the special features or commentary tracks are on it. So I'm like, oh, I need to fix this. So at some point today, a Blu-ray copy of Scott Pilgrim will show up, which has 4 different commentary tracks on it.
Yes.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah.
That is of the movies that desperately need a 4K release. That is absolutely near the top.
That's
Mhm.
it's astonishing to me that one doesn't have one yet.
That one and Speed Racer, and I'm still holding to my prediction that Speed Racer will get a 4K release after the next Matrix movie comes out because it can ride the coattails of the Wachowski surge
Sisters,
in
yeah.
popularity. Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm I wouldn't be surprised if Scott Pilgrim got one soon-ish because they just did that 10-year anniversary
Right.
cast reading last summer, which is available on YouTube, which I would highly recommend
Mm.
watching.
Yeah. It's just amazing movie. So there's
That
this
movie
really.
has so many people in it too.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
That's a normal floor, by the way.
Yeah. Everything is fine. This is all fine.
Yep.
So the floor
Totally
in this room they're in.
standard.
Yeah, they're in currently has like a giant circly gadget thing in the middle on the floor with
It has a Resident Evil puzzle in the middle.
yeah, basically it's like Myst. They're in a
I was gonna
Myst
say, yeah,
room.
it's a mist puzzle. There's a mist.
Yeah.
This entire house is a mist puzzle.
Maybe that explains why I love this movie so much because I love Mist.
That
Mhm.
fits.
So the chick playing the housekeeper / babysitter, Raw Digga, I like her in this movie. I think she's really fun. I like her performance.
Yeah, she
Mhm.
provides some of the much needed comic relief.
Mhm. And she provides some of the anything, because there are bits in this movie that are just too frequently just empty shots that don't do much.
This movie really wants to be a lot spookier than it is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's interesting. So I want to let's take that thread a little bit. So I think maybe that's why this movie suffers in some spots. Is this director isn't really so good at doing the whole establishing mood and atmosphere thing, but he is decent at the entertainment side of the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The flashy parts. I don't know.
Oh no, Matthew Lillard, you're hurt.
Lillard's having some medium moments.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a very I think, is this the inspiration for That's So Raven?
Oh God.
Where he just like looks off into the has a vision by looking off into the middle distance.
I'm gonna say yes. I have nothing to prove otherwise.
This has been Hot Takes with Claire Higginbottom.
And I'm positive I've seen this lawyer man somewhere else before.
My name for him is Sal Kilmer.
Sal Kilmer. Look at this fucking this
None
set.
of this is okay.
This set though is pretty incredible.
Oh, it's a great set, but I would be like, yeah, no, this isn't a house.
Yeah, it's like we're not even going to step foot in here.
This is an art exhibit.
So yeah, we're getting alternating cuts between Matt Lillard in the basement being overwhelmed with a house.
Yep.
And then Tony just talking to his lawyer, being like, "Well, we don't have no money. We can't pay for the taxes here."
Yeah.
So the
this
lawyer
actor is named David Byrne, or Bourne. Professionally goes by J.R. Bourne. He was in Stargate SG-1, Fringe, Revenge, and I guess all 6 seasons of Teen Wolf.
Did you just say woof?
I said Teen Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, Matthew Lillard!
The pressure, the spooky pressure.
The buometric pressure.
Yes. Reading really high on the barometer.
Jenna, Jenna, Jenna.
So Matt Lillard's character is seeing all the trapped spirits, and they're all horrifying.
They are.
This is a cool sequence.
It is. Because he's got the glasses.
Yep. Special glasses.
See without his glasses.
Hey kids, remember Razor scooters?
I had one.
Those are still fairly popular.
No one would be excited about this house. Ryan, you like spooky stuff, and you'd be like, yeah, no one lives here.
Yeah, nope. From the outside only, folks. I would, though, however, be very interested in just shining a laser pointer in here just to see the 10 million places.
See what happens. Our house starts glowing red. You've made the house angry.
Imagine how much Windex you would go through if you lived in this house.
God.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Well, at least they are being polite to birds. The Latin on the glass makes sure they won't fly into the windows.
And all the birds that read Latin will have something to do.
Yes.
Except the downside is all the birds that do run into the glass immediately become possessed.
Right.
Yes. Ghost birds.
It's the plot of The Birds.
Yes.
Then they all go and attack. They all go out and attack Tippi Hedren more than Alfred Hitchcock ever did.
Oh.
Hot takes.
So, again, this is not going to surprise Claire that I feel this way, but Matt Lillard is the only person doing any acting in this whole fucking movie. That and the kid a little bit. And Rod Digga. Okay, so a few people, but Matt Lillard is heads above everyone else. Like, this is a super fun performance.
David Lynch saw this and he was like, yes. Season 3.
Twin Peaks, you're my man.
Yeah, he did that scuba scene in 2 takes in that show.
Because he's incredible. Like, his performance in this and his performance at the end of Scream are probably, like, 2 of my favorite movie moments. Just, like, he doesn't have to go as hard in Scream as he does, but he did that for us.
Well, it's just, he's extremely believable in this movie.
Yeah.
His performance comes across as really, really, successfully empathetic as far as how the audience sees it. For me, anyway.
He feels genuinely concerned about these people.
Yeah.
Yeah. He has like an air of sincerity that I think a lot of people don't have.
Mm-hmm.
especially in this movie.
Yeah.
So Shannon Elizabeth's character is in her bedroom that's got a bunch of creepy shit in it, and she's somehow excited about it.
Yeah. She's in a bedroom. Or she's in a room that supposedly is a bedroom.
Yeah, a room that contains the bed. It is not a bedroom.
And also
Does-
like 30 million windows.
I think actually technically by real estate rules, that's not a bedroom because it doesn't have a closet.
I was just about to say the same thing.
So yeah, the lawyer guy is trying to convince Tony Shalhoub that Matt Lillard's character is just here for the money and doesn't care about any potential ghosts.
I like that theory. Ghost, don't worry about the ghosts. He's just a crazy person that thinks he's owed money. Ghost thing is fine. Don't worry about that.
In that there ain't ghosts.
Yeah, he'd be like, what now? Hold on.
So Tony Shalhoub goes to help Matt Lillard because he's kind of like
He's
about to fall
seizing.
over. Yeah, and once they touch, Matt Lillard sees all of Tony Shalhoub's pain and getting flashes of his
ghosts.
wife. Yes, his
Wifitude.
demons.
Mm-hmm.
Just going back to talking about the spooky railroad movie we want to make. What did we call it? Train Ghost or something? No, but
Ghost Train.
Ghost Train.
we went for maritime law and how that applies in Ghost Ship. In the train case, would it be rail rule? I think that's better.
Yes.
Yes.
Maritime law and rail rule.
Just though, for a point of order, they don't actually say maritime law and ghost ship because it's not even close. They say sea law, and that's the best part of that movie.
If we have, so I guess we have to put someone in that if it's about rail rule, we need to have jaw rule in the movie then, right? Like,
Mhm.
Obviously. Everybody have been living it up. That was a flawless Ja Rule impression.
Very
and
good.
He has to have the obligatory aughts special song that he wrote specifically for the movie called Off the Rails.
Yes. Exactly.
And during the music video, he's dressed as a conductor.
Is Ashanti going to make a special appearance?
Right.
I feel like Ashanti and Ja Rule were inseparable.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So now the lawyer's walking through with the glasses,
yeah.
kind of mocking the ghosts here.
Yep.
Which seems like a bad decision.
Yep.
In all cases, yes.
Yeah.
So this house reminds me of like the modern pre-COVID, like the future of the office buildings where everything's like glass walls and sliding doors. Yes, exactly.
So he picks up a briefcase here,
which was on some pedals.
Which was on some piano pedals, and
that were clearly also a pressure trigger of some sort.
Yes, that now are a pressure trigger. This is Resident Evil the movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Resident Evil Puzzles the movie, I should say. Mm-hmm. Which I'm okay with.
Mm-hmm.
I think this movie
underneath Matt Dillard's orange coveralls, he's wearing a bespoke suit.
I think to that point, in a way, right? This movie shows that you can do the kinds of ridiculous puzzles that there are in video games and still make it an entertaining movie, and not be like super have to like super conflate what's going on or anything else. Like, people will buy this.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, no, all this machinery just works.
Like, all right, fine.
Yeah.
Crazy occult house.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So the turn of events has culminated in the releasing of a ghost. The naked, angry princess that the lawyer was kind of a dick to a moment ago is very much on brand for male douchebags trying to walk back all of his bullshit.
Yep.
And who is then cut in half by some closing panels of glass.
Yes.
Yep.
In a very brutal manner.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Cut in half like shoulder to shoulder direction along that plane.
Yep.
Dewey, I got a real bad case of being cut in half.
The fucking Dewey Cox story.
Yeah.
Great practical effects here of the lawyer sliding down the
Yes.
pane of glass, and you see the back half of him.
Back half. It's great. I love that effect.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's really cool.
fantastic.
Yeah, this movie goes whole hog on the production design.
Yeah. So is this pre or post Ghost Ship?
This is pre-Ghost
Pre.
Ship.
This is his first feature film.
Man, they referenced Dr. Phil. Boy, that motherfucker's been around for way too long.
Yeah.
I like that this kid, who's like, what, 10? Maybe?
I don't know how old kids
I
are.
don't know how kids work, but he's got ghost glasses on, and he's razoring around this gigantic, terrifying house on his own.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks like the quintessential late 90s, early aughts child.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like the little brother from Lizzie McGuire.
Mm-hmm.
That was a cool shot, kind of the camera swooping in from a different part of the bathroom and getting into the perspective of the ghost glasses that are on the counter.
Yes.
And we see that this bathroom is very different in Ghost World. It's
Mhm.
covered in blood, and the princess is looking at herself in the mirror right beside Shannon Elizabeth. Great makeup,
Yep.
great creature effects.
Yeah, all of like the makeup effects in this movie are fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
So many circles on this floor.
Time for more steampunk mechanics.
Mm-hmm. If it spins, you know it's sinister. Spinister.
Thank you, Ryan.
I knew that was coming from someone. I just wasn't sure if it was going to be Ryan or James.
I'm happy to be predictably dumb.
This is the type of house I would expect to find in an Amnesia game.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This scene is really fun. I really like this. So Shannon Elizabeth is, just really soaking it all in her new bathroom, just really loving it. But we also get these really cool interleaved shots of how it actually looks in Ghostland. And
Yeah.
I don't know, this is just really, this creates a cool kind of tension, right?
So, question.
Yes.
Is what is being implied here is that this is the tub that the angry princess killed herself in, and that so I would argue that a lot of just the random bric-a-brac that is within this house is significantly connected to each of the ghosts in some way.
Right. My assumption, and I think the movie implies this at least lightly, is that these things have been acquired elsewhere and brought to the home, right?
Yes.
So she
Right.
didn't kill herself at the home in this tub, but she probably killed herself in that tub, wherever the hell she lived.
Right.
Yeah, because like the suicide note was "I'm sorry" written on the floor in blood.
Right.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a cool scene.
Yep. All right. So my problem with this bathroom is that, and Ryan, you can attest to this. When I first moved into my home that I purchased, there is a very large glass window in my bathroom that is just that is just like frosted.
There.
It's heavily frosted. And we were like, this is uncomfortable to use. There is no planet upon which someone walks into a entirely glass bathroom
Right.
and with their family walking around and is like, you know what? This rules.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use the bathroom. Be like, no.
Yeah,
can't
no,
wait
no.
I
can't
prefer to
wait to
poop in
drop it.
peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super excited to drop a deuce in this every day for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So this kid's a fucking soldier though, man. He's just following the spooky voices. So we do hear different voices right now, which is kind of cool. There's one voice, a scary one, telling Bobby to go downstairs, and another one saying, no, that's a terrible idea. Don't do that.
Yeah. Bad Bobby.
Damn it, Bobby.
But
What in the-
Dad, I heard a voice compelling me to go downstairs.
What in the hell's that spooky sound?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Goddamn spooky don't no.
I'm running
no,
down spooky
that's
down,
the windows
ghosts and
in there.
spectral and all the material stuff, man. And Eldritch.
Recast the movie as Hank.
Yes.
with that.
No, just
So obviously Matthew Lillard is Dale.
Yeah.
Shannon Elizabeth is Luann.
Yeah,
Luann.
obviously.
The lawyer is Khan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Tony Shalhoub's strength activate. Oh.
F. Murray Abraham is Cotton Hill.
Yes.
Or would that be the torso ghost?
Oh yeah.
Hey.
I think that Lillard is just like, yep, you guys are screwed. Like, this sucks.
Mhm. Has Tony Shalhoub been in a movie and also been like in a good role? And I like Tony Shalhoub, but like he doesn't strike me as a good movie actor in this or in Men in Black, which is the only other movie I can think of him being in.
He's got a pretty
Yeah, pretty extensive.
extensive
Yeah, filmography.
film list, but
But is he good? That's my question.
I mean,
The
he's
world
like a
will never
character
know.
actor, I would say, but I can't
Hmm.
think of anything where I'm just like, yes, that was, peak Shalhoub.
Now
Yeah,
the
but
ghosts, the ghosts are telling Bobby to get out of the danger zone.
Yeah, I'm not I'm not going to a movie because Shalhoub's in it. You can
Mm.
put it that way.
Yeah. I mean, he did 125 episodes of Monk,
Yeah.
so I kind of attribute him more to being a TV actor.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I'm not going to the Shalhoub Aruba. So
Aruba.
Shalhoub, Jamaica. Ooh, I wanna take it. You guys bring out my best horrible songs.
I know.
Excellent.
you sounded so excited there, Max.
Dude, this kid is brave as fuck. I would never do this. I'm a grown ass man. I wouldn't do this.
Yeah.
Because you're not stupid like a child.
Also fair.
Ryan wants to go to those spook houses just so he can disprove them. But then he's
No.
gonna find out that the equipment's all legit and then lose his mind.
Oh my god.
I can't wait till you go there and you find out that they're just selling people 5G chips in their vaccines, right?
Yep, exactly.
God.
Ectobar
Bar
glass.
Put ecto in front of anything and it immediately
Yeah.
becomes ghosty.
Yep.
Ooh, gooey ectoplasm.
Ectoplasm. This is ectoplasm.
Thank you, Ryan.
Yep. So Matt Lillard is explaining the writing on all the walls. They are boundaries for ghosts. Ghosts
To both
cannot
us,
pass them.
to both
Yes.
the family and the audience.
Yes.
Well,
'Cause they
people are
didn't
stupid, so
Well, they didn't explain that in the opening sequence, right? I mean, this opening sequence is just like Cyrus doing ghost stuff. So
yeah. Well, we saw a ghost get captured behind the glass, so
right, and you presume that you know what's going on, but
Mhm.
the movie didn't actually didn't punch you over the head with what it was going on in the first part.
right.
That kid razors about as well as I can. Oh, that's pretty scary.
Huh.
That's not great.
Yep.
I did read at one point that like the torso guy, they actually used like a actual like quadruple amputee and just put like a green screen bag over his head.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Cool.
That's some
Or a double amputee, yeah.
George Romero freaks.
Mm.
Yeah, so they actually used like a real amputee and then just like gave him a green screen hood.
Neato.
So like they do a lot with like practical effects in this movie, which I think is pretty neat.
Oh, always.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think this is like the sweet spot of like if they waited like a year or two more,
It would be
we'd
horribly
way
CGI'd.
horribly CGI'd. Yeah.
So
And
this is
Matthew
kind of a
Lillard might
cool.
not even be able to save it.
Right.
Mhm.
That's dire straits. That. But that's kind of cool that Matt Lillard puts on the spooky ghost glasses, and they reveal even more spells on the floor, and like
Mhm.
it alarms him because he's like, why the fuck would they need even more protection in this house? I think that's
Yeah.
a cool little scene that builds a little extra tension. Be like, what the hell else is going on?
Yeah.
I just want my kids back.
Yeah. Exactly.
He's just Thomas Jane's character from Arrested Development. I just want my kids back.
Also, like, this house is all glass. Just look down.
Yeah, really.
Oh, serious Lillard.
Lillard concern activate.
I like how Tony Shalhoub is effectively dressed as Monk in this movie too.
Standard Shalhoub attire.
Yeah. So the kid, he has an audio recorder he was messing with at the beginning of the movie. It has fallen off of him when he fell down, and it is recording currently.
Convenient.
Yes,
The spooky
we'll come back
version of the
later.
Talk Boy from Home Alone 2.
Fuck
Yes.
yeah, I had a talk boy.
I had a
And there's
talk
a
girl
voice.
because things are pointlessly gendered.
Exactly. Yep. He's hearing a voice.
And it's telling him to put the glasses on.
Mm-hmm.
Not gonna like that
So-
kid.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
So he puts the glasses on, and he sees his mother!
Bum bum bum.
I'm
So
a little
everyone knows
disappointed in her makeup. Go ahead, Max.
Oh, okay. Well, she just got burnt, so not that interesting. But yeah, so everybody knows that Matt Lillard would go on to become Shaggy in the live-action Scooby-Doo movies.
The most perfect casting that's ever existed. Side note.
Ooh,
However-
it's Cyrus.
However, Lillard would also go on to do the voice of Shaggy in all of the animated films.
Yeah,
from,
once
like,
Casey
2000
Kasem died, yeah.
from 2011 or 10, excuse me, onwards.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure like Casey Kasem, like when he knew he was like about to croak, was like, yeah, Matthew Lillard.
That's perfect.
So Ryan said something there, which was Bobby saw Cyrus when he put the glasses on.
Yes. Who died in the opening scene.
Mm-hmm.
Boo,
Have you-
Tang, boo, Tang.
Yeah. Place is definitely too big, and
Yes,
obviously...
that's what's wrong with this place, is that it's too big.
The taxes. I mean, Tony Shalhoub even brought it up. He's like, the taxes alone on this house, I can't afford.
I mean, not wrong.
Yeah.
Once I bought a house and started paying taxes, I was like, wait, what?
I like how the lawyer explained away his tax concerns by using the line, "Oh, Cyrus was a financial genius," and then they just left it at that. I'm like, okay.
I mean, clearly he wasn't. They just made a big deal about him squandering the family fortune.
Yeah.
He
He's
got
like the
into
kind of guy who would
glass and
invest-
Windex.
Yeah, he invested in the
glass.
Enron.
And now Lillard is realizing that there's trouble afoot.
Yeah.
They're open.
Yep, the ghost cells are open. So now the first person in the family is about to see, well, I guess the first adult. So Maggie's putting on the glasses and sees this giant dude that's just filled with like railroad spikes and stuff. It's very Cenobite in feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is.
They'll talk about him in your intro to psychology class about how he was a railroad worker and the railroad spike went up through the top of his brain, and then they discovered
Gage.
schizophrenia. Yep,
Phineas Gage.
Phineas Gage. And they discovered schizophrenia because of it. That's what that was,
Yeah.
if I recall correctly.
Time to go now.
Just... So Matt Lillard is getting some prophetic flashes here. Flashes of the future, perhaps, maybe. So they found Bobby's glasses. Had to call me, baby.
Oh, that's a different song than I was doing, but okay.
Oh, still though. So they play back Bobby's little tape recorder, and it's just the child screaming frantically on it.
Yeah.
Everything is fine. Aren't you all glad you walked into this house?
It's free real estate.
Real estate. All my pets every time I get up from the couch. It's free real estate.
Yeah, here it is. Location, location, location.
Symbol of the Jackal.
I like that Matt Lillard's like, nope, gotta go. Fuck the kid.
Fuck them kids.
Yeah.
Fuck the kids.
Matthew Lillard is the Jordan of this movie, Claire. So that fits.
True. Oh God.
Ah,
So
spooky.
the daughter puts her glasses on and immediately confronted by the Jackal.
The Jackal was terrifying to me as
Yeah.
whenever this came out. That
Yep.
was the
Jackal's-
scariest design of all of them.
The Jackal's still pretty terrifying.
Right. So the Jackal is this dude, I think, with his head in a metal cage. So that's one of the few times where they're like, "Hey, check out Shannon Elizabeth's boobs," just showing
Yeah.
it getting clawed there. But yeah, it's just a pretty horrifying character design.
Yeah.
It's something I would expect to see in Bloodborne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Jackal, from what I remember about like the special features where they tell you about all of them, actually had like a pretty interesting backstory. Like the reason he's in like the straitjacket and has the head cage is because he like was such a bonkers criminal. They put him in like solitary confinement with the head cage and the straitjacket. And when like the psychiatric hospital he was in burst into flames, he chose to stay and die in the fire. So that's why he's still all like suited up.
Oh. Yeah, that cool shit. That's cool shit from the DVD extras. That's neat.
Yeah.
I'll chime in with things I remember as we go through.
Do it.
And all of a sudden, a lady appears
Yeah.
to rescue Shannon Elizabeth.
It might be tough to tell now, but we will come to recognize her as one of the quote unquote activists from the opening who were opposed to Cyrus's work.
Yes.
Oh yeah, she did look familiar. It's either one of the people from the opening or someone from Resident Evil 1.
Take Matt's advice. So Shannon Elizabeth got pretty messed up. The Jackal was clawing at her.
Mm-hmm. Weird cut. I mean,
Yeah. Going from Maggie and Matt Lillard to these guys real fast. So this new interloper, who the hell are you?
Yeah.
That's peak Shalhoub for this movie, I think.
Yeah. Who the hell? What the hell? Why the hell?
I just want
Well,
my kids back.
that's Mbeth Davids, South African American actress. Wait. Apparently, she's an Army of Darkness.
Huh.
Oh, she's Sheila.
Oh.
So she's got her like bag of tricks. Oh, now Tony Shalhoub finally sees a spook.
Oh my god.
And it's the Jackal.
Being held by a containment spell.
Mm-hmm.
Or the barrier spells, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Claire.
How dare I? Getting some more backstory about Cyrus.
Yep.
So this lady's saying that she wants to release these spirits because they're being held against their wills.
Yes.
I mean, with some of these ghosts, maybe it's not the worst thing.
Yeah.
She belongs to pets, people against people for the ethical treatment of spooks.
Mm.
So now she's explaining that the house is a big machine to see into the future.
Engine, number, house.
Yeah.
I actually really like that quote, designed by the devil and powered by the dead.
Yeah, I think that's a good line. I think that's also a high probability that that's how the movie was pitched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's this house, designed by the devil, and it's powered by the dead. Okay, go on. Lean in close. People lean in closer.
Yes.
The devil, you say?
We're gonna have an 18-wheeler full of blood, and we're just gonna spray it on things. All right, here's your
Shannon
money.
Elizabeth's missing now.
It's a win, really.
Oh, so Mbeth Davids you may recognize as Miss Honey from the adaptation of Matilda.
Hmm. So creepy child, Caucasian child dressed as an Indian and he's got an arrow through his head.
The firstborn son, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
He never attacks anyone.
He just.
He just says, I want to play.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Play with me.
He apparently challenged another kid to a duel, and he had a cap gun, but the other kid had a real bow and arrow. That's his backstory on how he died.
And then Lillard gets split off because of the house
Lil.
shifting.
Oh, we have increasingly ominous music as the house is reconfiguring here.
Yep.
Cube 2, Hypercube.
Oh gosh.
Cube 2, Rhombus.
But that's geometrically impossible.
Cool character design.
As someone who's been playing a lot of Control recently, yes, that is geometrically impossible.
A cube can be a rhombus, but a rhombus can't be a cube. I guess a rhomboid prism.
Rhomboid.
Oh, it's the greaser. What's the greaser's name again?
He's-
Prince? Torn Prince.
Yeah, the Torn Prince. Railroad Spike Ghost can be angry John Henry. That's what he can be.
There's
But I
the
mean,
greaser.
Railroad Spike Ghost is actually called the Hammer.
Right.
Just so we can all learn something while we're watching.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I'm trying to
If
be
you go to-
helpful.
Yeah, if after you listen to this podcast, check out the Wikipedia page for 13 Ghosts, and you can see a list of all the ghosts and their backstories.
Or just listen to me talk, and I'll just probably
Yeah.
tell you all of it as is.
Much more entertaining to listen to Claire talk about it.
My soothing voice
Hmm
telling you about the spookies.
My exact text to Claire before we started this was, "Hey, do you want to come on and gab about? You want to come on GBBV in like 20 minutes to gab about 13 Ghosts?"
And my
Hook,
response was,
Holy shit, yes.
Hook, line, and sinker. Nailed
yeah,
it.
you know how to get me.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm
Oh man, we can rope Claire in with another Lillard feature. I think it's actually already on the list. Maybe we'll do Without a Paddle at some point. You ever see that movie? With Seth Green.
I saw it in
Yeah.
theaters.
So did I. Isn't Daniel Stern in that movie? Like one of the bandits from Home Alone?
I think so.
I think he's in it.
Who's the third guy again? Is it Dax Shepard?
I think it's Dax Shepard, yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely come on for that episode.
Oh god.
This
so
is one of
it's
the grosser ones
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
the great big baby and the tiny little mom.
Yep.
hmm
Yeah, the baby one's the one that like creeps me out real bad.
Mm.
So
Reminds me a
Shalhoub
little
and-
bit of Nothing But Trouble.
The great child and the dire mother.
Hmm.
Shalhoub and the ghost activist are trying to get out before the house shifts again
Mm.
because the hammer is
Closing in.
closing.
been released.
Shalhoub's about to be a anvil to this guy's hammer.
Yep.
Uh-huh. He's gonna whack a Shalhoub.
Yes.
Whack a monk.
Yes, thank you. That's way better.
Just misses
Just
by that much.
Gonna miss.
By that much. All right, so Pat, run! A lot of this kind of crazy, intricate machinery pops up in Cabin in the Woods. I'm absolutely
yeah.
not going to imply that this has inspired that movie in any way, but it is similar in aesthetic a lot of the times.
Yeah,
hmm
a movie
For
that will
sure.
never be seen on this podcast because it is perfect.
The best.
hmm
I feel like this is just padding.
Yeah,
I
just
feel
like
like
these weird pan shots.
Yeah,
We got to
and I
hit that 90-minute mark.
Yeah, I got to hit that tight 90.
Yes.
I thought about starting another podcast called A Tight 90, which we just talk about 90-minute movies.
Oh, that could have gone real weird with some old people.
Yeah.
Playing, but yeah.
Yeah. I like this scene where it's quiet. I know that you talked about how like there's some scenes where they're just showing stuff, but I do appreciate that in the midst of like it's
Spook
like
insanity.
it's punctuated equilibrium, right?
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
I like the sound design in this movie a lot because there's parts where it's like screechingly loud, but it's broken up with enough like quieter moments.
Mhm.
It gives you a chance to catch your breath because you can't just keep going every minute with like high intensity spook stuff.
Yeah, like whether or not you like or hate this movie, the pacing of it's really nice.
hey, you know what? We're gonna show that you can do that with Soul Train or with Ghost Train.
So the Jackal found them and ripped up Tony Shalhoub's back.
Scrape to Shalhoub.
Mhm.
He's a Torna Shalhoub.
Mm.
If he does become a ghost in this movie, he'd be Tony Solube, which sounds like a sex jelly for ghosts.
It does.
Yes, it does.
Hmm.
The ghost that we just saw in the little like stock thing is the Pilgrimess, who's like a colonist,
Mhm.
and she got I think like accused of being a witch, so she
Oh.
was trapped in the stocks and died in it.
That's cool.
I like Lured's shirt.
Me
I do too. I like
it's
that
very
outfit.
like mob boss.
Yeah. Very, very Yakuza. 3 buttons undone, giant collar, gaudy pattern. Yes, I've been playing Yakuza.
So Matt Lillard and the activist are arguing over Lillard's motivation for helping Cyrus out. I think this is a really neat plot twist.
Yes.
That she's like, oh, Matt Lillard didn't tell you, did he? About the fourth ghost. At this point, the audience has, divined
Kind
what
of
the
figured it
ghost
out,
is.
yeah. But now
But
you're kind of seeing the malicious intent of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought this was really cool.
What a twist!
What a twist! So yes, Tony Shalhoub's wife is the fourth spirit. Oh, Shalhoub smack.
Yep.
So maybe this will get answered on the second viewing, but did Cyrus cause the fire or did it just happen?
I'm pretty sure it's implied that Cyrus caused the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
And then when like she was in the hospital, I think it's implied that like Matthew Lillard and Cyrus kind of were the ones that finished her off.
Right.
I mean, not necessarily like murdered, but like implied that
Yeah.
it was for the express purpose of getting her soul.
Should be 12 earthbound spirits. The black
Yeah, now
Zodiac.
they get to the Black Zodiac, sort of a,
Oh, so now we are getting the names.
Yeah. This
I
is
knew
cool.
they said them at some point. I just couldn't remember when.
The withered lover.
So
The
these
wife.
ghosts are meant to represent
Yeah.
these archetypes within the within this
Black
grimoire.
Zodiac.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because we see the artistic representations of what these spirits look like, and there's some variation between the actual ghosts and what's being drawn. It's not,
for sure.
one for one. Like the Angry Princess is shown as hanging herself.
Mhm.
Yep.
I
While
think the suicide is the important part of Angry
Yeah.
Princess.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I like that. I like that.
The hammer looks like a blacksmith.
Yeah.
But it's a railroad worker.
The Juggernaut.
Yeah.
So we're
and
seeing
the
that the Juggernaut was the one that killed everyone from the beginning of the movie.
Right. So we're learning that the house is going to, when it's done kajiggering, it's going to summon all the ghosts to the center of the house, to the Oculus Infernum. They can open it up.
Yep.
The Eye of Hell.
Yep.
because the math teacher knows Latin.
I was going to say, all things a math teacher would know.
Plot device, Mr. Frodo. Plot device.
Hey, everyone has to take electives in college.
So, yeah. So basically, all this to get control of the Oculus Infernum, to see all the things and win all the sports bets. This guy's just Spooky Biff.
I finally understand that reference.
Had you not seen Back
I
to the
hadn't-
Future?
I hadn't seen any of the Back to the Futures until like last fall.
Oh boy.
But last fall being like fall 2019 at this point, or spring 2020. They were just
What
like
did
one
you
of those
think?
movies. I loved them.
Yeah, they're really fun, right?
They were just like those movies that I didn't see them as a kid for one reason or another, and then by the time I like got to high school, college, like everyone had already seen them, so no one wanted to rewatch them, and I had already garnered like most of the references via pop culture.
Right.
So it got to the point where I was like, do I even need to watch them at this point? Because I like know everything based on jokes other things have made. But I'm glad I watched them.
Yeah, they're fun. More, that's a Robert Zemeckis tie into this movie because he's apparently one of the freaking producers here.
So she's telling Tony Shalhoub he has to sacrifice himself so the kids can live.
I just
Let me
want
read
my
the fine
kids
print
back.
on this.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
I like that Matt Lillard just rips open the book and he's like, I don't read
I read
Latin.
Latin.
3 sticks of dynamite, that seems rather small scale for this level of house.
Yeah, that would destroy like one corner of the basement.
Yeah. This is like a bundle of 7 at least.
It is made of glass.
Yeah.
It feels like if you
Yes.
got one part to go, it could just kind of, the rest would follow.
You just need to explode the load-bearing glass.
Mm.
Ha,
create a
joke's on
glass-
you. It's explode bearing glass.
Uh,
You cannot vomit. Your glass explode.
People have
Oh,
escaped
get
the
it?
dome. They'll do it again.
Get it? Get it, guys? Tony Shalhoub used the word equation. Get it? He's a math teacher.
The math teacher.
That's been critical to the plot.
I wanted them to like list off the ghosts, and he's like, "Wait, 6 plus 6 is 12."
I do like the genre of horror / sci-fi where physicists or mathematicians or someone in a extremely technical, rule-oriented scientific profession is exposed to something supernatural or
Yeah, face their own beliefs type
Yeah.
situation.
Kabbalistic in it, which shatters their worldview.
Yeah.
That's probably why I shouldn't go to many spooky houses, Max. I probably shouldn't do that.
Gonna make that movie happen in real life.
So the team has decided to remove one of the glass doors or panels from this house to use it as a ghost shield. Which, I guess,
Yeah.
there are
I mean,
worse plans.
Mhm.
and it does fit within the rules of the movie so far, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
they told us that the glass and the Latin work. So,
But can't the
It's-
ghost just like walk around it
well, but I mean, I think the panels are all it's
as wide as the hallway?
as wide as the
Yeah.
hallway, right?
Yeah,
like
just-
they're just slightly shorter because they all have to fit into the
Right.
Yeah.
the pieces.
And ghosts can't climb,
Mhm.
as we know.
Mhm.
And jet
From-
fuel can't melt steel beams.
That's why they're using dynamite, Claire.
Exactly.
doop, doop. All right, walk on the door.
Now we've reached the solid snake portion of the movie.
Yeah. Sure.
So, Claire, on that, the special features for this film, does it have Matthew Lillard doing naked cartwheels anywhere?
If it did, you'd never see me again.
This movie would be on repeat.
Like, we probably would have never met because ever since I bought the DVD, I would never stop watching it.
Yep. Lucky for you, DVDs don't wear out.
Yeah. There'd be some sort of like weird Lifetime movie about the girl who never left her house because she's watching Matthew Lillard do naked cartwheels.
The only way to get her out was to have Matthew Lillard actually come into her house and naked cartwheel out.
Right. And we
We should ask Matthew Lillard to come talk about his film career. That'd be fun.
Yes, let's.
If you don't invite me for that episode, you all are dead to me.
So we just saw the Dead Lawyer again, which actually one of the movie's jokes that made me laugh. Maggie earlier on says, "Hey, what the hell's the deal with the lawyer? Did he just split or something like that?"
Yeah.
It's an organic joke that works well enough.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, what kind of Neil Stephenson clockwork contraption is this?
I don't think this room's OSHA compliant.
No.
It's GOSHA compliant.
Oh. Fun fact, guys. Speaking of OSHA, I'm getting forklift certified this year, and I'm very excited.
Oh gosh, you're gonna just be swimming in trim.
I'm gonna be the dream lesbian.
As someone who is not a native Michigander, I appreciate that it's called forklift certification and not high-low certification.
I've heard those used interchangeably.
Well, those are two different things.
I know, but I've heard them used interchangeably.
Yeah, high-lows as in place of the word forklift is a Michigan Midwestern thing.
Right.
It's a.
But forklift is such a funny word. Why do people not want to say forklift?
So we've got
because they're rubes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got the greaser guy.
Yeah. Matt Lillard and Tony Shalhoub squashing the greaser ghost.
All of a sudden,
Cyrus approaching. Uh-oh.
The ghost advocate nails
Maggie
in the head with the book.
Oh, and Cyrus isn't dead. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, and they make it out. Twist number 2.
Yeah. You got the little hint because Maggie's foot hit Cyrus's and was able to, move it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whoosh, 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 whoosh.
There are the spells.
So they kept the spells. Oh, it's an audio spells.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if he got his Audible subscription for that.
Ooh.
This is audio spells seem like something you'd find in like a 2007 first-person shooter game to establish backstory.
Oh yeah.
I found the audio log.
And here's where Lillard
sacrifices himself.
Yep.
You're an angel, Matthew.
Yeah.
He puts Tony Shalhoub behind the barrier.
Yeah.
But there's not room for both of them. So Matt Lillard is just trying to dodge everything.
Yeah, because the hammer is so strong that he would just push them back, I think is the
Mm-hmm.
And then the Juggernaut has been released.
Yeah.
The actor playing the Juggernaut is just huge, just like tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a Boris Karloff appearance to him.
Mm. So, and he's down.
Yeah.
Matt Lillard is hammered and then juggernauted.
Pour one out. Movie's over now.
So this is the Juggernaut's thing, is to just fling people around on the walls.
Yeah.
So the actor playing Juggernaut is an actor by the name of John DeSantis, who played Lurch in the Addams Family TV series on Fox Family.
Oh, you can totally see it too.
Yeah, I see it in the face.
And he just bends Matthew Lillard's character around a steel beam.
Right.
He was also in the 13th Warrior.
Huh. Which is another 13th movie. 13 movie, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only important thing about it is that it has the number 13.
Also a kind of Beowulf adaptation.
Right. So, Cyrus barking orders at the activist, clearly showing he doesn't care for her.
Yep.
She is just being used.
But she loves him. Spinny floor. I
It
think instead
does.
of like talking about being like a Cancer, blah blah blah, I'm gonna figure out which Black Zodiac I am, and just refer to myself as that from now on.
Yeah.
Be like, sorry, I'm sorry like that. I'm such a
Such a
tortured
wi-
lover,
Yes.
Yeah.
such a withered lover, guys.
Yeah.
I'm just being real juggernauty today. I'm
Oh,
actually a Jackal rising.
felt like such a great child after that meal.
So all the ghosts have been summoned
They have been,
to the
except
center of the house. Except
Speaking
the
of
wife.
withered lovers,
Mhm. She'll be up there.
Okay,
shortly.
Ryan. Better or worse makeup than Freddy in Freddy's Dead?
Yeah, that's funny. When we talked about it earlier, and actually the note I took was, it's as bad as Freddy's Dead makeup, which is real bad.
You did not like
But-
that one.
But this movie gets a pass because she's not the main character of a beloved horror franchise in its final movie. There's no excuse for the makeup to be that fucking bad. Absolutely none.
you mean Looney Tunes in Nightmares?
Jesus Christ.
I'm convinced that Freddy's Dead would be like the most perfect movie of all time if you replaced the entire dialogue track with just yakety sax and
Or
sped
just,
and sped the movie up to like 2.5 times speed.
Jesus.
just some of that Merry Melodies music.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Oh, so Cyrus just locked the activists in a room that's closing in, like the walls are closing in, and she gets squished.
yep, really
Sandwiched.
squished.
So I am mildly paying attention because I'm only a little bit drunk. Did they explain why he's still alive?
Nope.
Okay.
I mean, like why Cyrus is still alive?
Yes. Oh, he faked his death?
Yeah, he faked his death.
Yeah, he faked his
Oh,
death.
okay.
Yep. So the kids are at the center of the eye on the floor,
Yep.
and some of the rings outside of where they're sitting are just whirling terrifyingly. There's just giant blades at this point.
Yep.
And all the ghosts have assembled around them.
Assemble.
Because they need another ghost.
Mm-hmm. The
The
13th
13th ghost, if you will.
Yep.
All right, someone with Photoshop skills.
Yep.
Of the shot of the 12 ghosts, put all the King of the Hill characters.
So
Nice.
he's looking over and he sees Cyrus with the glasses on.
So he's
He doesn't
assuming
know
that
he's still
Cyrus is a
alive.
ghost.
Yep.
But because Tony Shalhoub is a math teacher, he was able to count that there are 12. It's
Yes.
important as a math teacher that you count to 12. And he's realizing
Because then you can do your times tables,
right.
Mhm.
your ghost
So now he's-
tables.
your spook charts.
Yes.
I like to picture Tony Shalhoub as a math teacher, like when Marge decides to teach piano, and she's just like, I don't need to be good. I just need to be one lesson ahead of the students.
Yep.
I ruined your joke. I'm sorry, Ryan.
No, it's not a good joke. But where we're leading up to is that his math powers have shown him that 13 is indeed different than 12, so something is amiss.
Which direction is the shark gonna bite if we're doing greater than or less than?
Oh, we got the title again.
And it doesn't have a remora because it's not equal to.
Nah.
You
Sorry, that
cane-ass
whole scene was
bitch.
too much.
That's way longer than it needs to be.
Yeah. For dramatic effect.
I mean,
Now
I
he's
like
realizing
seeing.
that Cyrus isn't a ghost.
Mhm. He took his glasses off. Yep, still sees him too.
The idea of Tony Shalhoub being angry is just too amusing.
Yeah.
Shalhoub strength.
Fury of blows.
That's depressing
Whatever.
if that's your whole life.
Yeah.
Obsessed much?
Where's your math now? Hmm.
Calculate the angular velocity of me throwing this fist in your face.
Right. Whoops. That seems like
Sword
a
cane. The most
step in the wrong
distinguished
direction.
weapon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait, are all canes not just swords on the inside?
Who can say for sure? None of us have canes.
Mine didn't have
Who's to
a
say?
sword inside of it when I had my cane.
Sounds like you got had.
Did
Swindled.
blew
Bamboozled.
out my knee and didn't even get a sword cane.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
bullshit.
that's
Well, you got
yeah.
another knee. Hop to it.
Yeah.
Hop on it, rather.
So now we're just finding out that Cyrus really is a major dick.
Yep. And then Rod Digga, Maggie is just messing with all the controls of the audio
Rod
feedback
Digga's-
for the spells.
she's preparing for her next Flipmore Squad song.
Pull the lever.
Crunk.
Exactly. So the ghosts are breaking free from their summoning because the house is breaking and the spells are not being spoken anymore.
The house is breaking and the ghosts are quaking.
Yep.
Busta Rhymes.
And now they're all coming after Cyrus because they
Yep.
pissed.
If
Yeah.
if the walls are in Latin, prepare for a splatting.
Very good, Ryan.
I'm impressed.
I like that they just throw him into the machine.
They
Yeah.
just yeet him into the storm of blades.
Yep.
Big
Yeet and
CGI
yeet.
gears look okay.
Yep.
Oh, and here's Ghosty Lillard.
Yep.
And honestly, he's great in this movie, but he's best here. I think this little
Yeah.
scene
Yeah.
at the end,
Mhm.
just everything in his face is just, it's perfect.
Well,
Yeah.
what's great to your point on this, Ryan, is that his whole demeanor has completely changed.
Right.
Right. Because
Yeah.
he said he needs to do one good thing in his life to make himself feel good about himself. And so he sacrifices himself, and all of a sudden he comes back and he's like, yes,
He's just like,
I
chill.
did the right thing.
Mhm.
This is what I'm here to do. And he has that air of confidence in him that he hasn't had
Right.
for the rest of
Yeah.
the movie.
Yeah,
He's
and
got swag, if you will.
Mhm.
yeah, and it's really just he's peaceful in that shot too. Like,
Yep.
and that's something he clearly hasn't been in this movie, and he alludes to basically having never experienced peace ever because of his abilities.
Yep.
Math
It's a-
jump.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What he really needed to do was the superhero landing on his kids.
Yes.
Well,
So I know cool guys don't look at explosions, but what happens when the explosion is literally all around you?
ethical
death-
conundrum.
Yeah, the death blades will save you.
So it's not that he needed to jump to his kids to save them. It's that he needed to jump to not be sliced by falling glass.
Yeah.
Because the
it was a
death blade
stealth
saved
yeet.
him.
Self yeet.
Yeah. Auto yeet.
As I yote myself into the spinning blades.
As I yeet through the valley of the shadow of death.
Oh, very good.
I'm proud of that one.
That's real good.
I'm gonna ride that high for the rest of the day.
All right, Internet 5 with Claire. Whoop whoop.
Whoop,
Well, you did good, kid. We did good.
whoop.
I want him to, while he's hugging his kids, to say, "I just want my kids back."
Yes.
This is a neat little scene.
Yep.
Yeah.
So all the other ghosts have, left their prison essentially, and the mother. is kind of slowly going on the ring that's still moving, which was a neat little touch.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
A
the
great
ghosts are
movie.
yeah, a great movie. The ghosts are leaving, and we are treated to a nice outro song by the one and only Rod Digga.
Yeah,
I
Rod.
know more people that like this movie than dislike this one. I mean, Roger Ebert being the big like I do not like this movie, despite liking the production values, but
Yeah.
criticize the story and lack of interesting characters, which kind of, I mean, Matthew Lillard
You just
is the
need the
most
one.
interesting. Yeah, yeah. I mean, Rodiga is kind of interesting as the almost kind of comic relief, but
Yeah.
everybody else is kind of I'm just like, yeah. So
Yeah, well, it's one of those interesting movies that has like a 12% on Rotten Tomatoes, but has like a 90% on Google viewers.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's weird, and I feel like people have come around on this one again. I don't know if it's because it recently got a re-release from probably Shout Factory in the last year or
Yeah, I think
two.
it was Shout Factory.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it honestly has to do with this idea, and I think it's some of what you and I talk about at times, Ryan, with like film Twitter. And film Twitter is just film. It's just
It's
people trying to pretend that they're actual film critics.
Yeah.
I think there's different subsets of film
Oh
Twitter,
no,
but
no,
continue.
fuck film Twitter. Film Twitter is the worst. I don't swear on the podcast frequently, but film Twitter is awful, and
it's
Yeah.
generally
it's
generally
hor-
insufferable.
it's yeah, no, insufferable is the right word. Because it's a bunch of people who, even if they got, I don't have a media degree, but it is people who got a media degree that just want to constantly remind everyone that they got a media degree.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's as someone who
Let people
studies cult,
know.
who studies cultures and patterns and everything else from my degree. So this is the world I live in. It's all that. It's a whole lot of that. And to your point, Claire, there's this idea, right? This idealized movie as to what the critic world put stuff up against. And this isn't one of those like this isn't for critics kind of like um, you know um, Smith kind of deals from back in the day. I think what it has to do with is that people go in and there's this idealized horror movie as to what it's going to be, and it's put up against that. And then if critically, if
Yeah.
that's what they're going for, then that's what happens. Whereas a lot of people are just like, you know what, I want to go to a movie and just be entertained for a little while. It can be dumb. We'll buy in. We'll do this. We'll do this, and we'll just have a good time. Or I really like this actor, and that's how you get those very divisive, people versus critical takes. And I also
Like
think to the
the critical takes on like horror movies, I just find so frustrating because I feel like a lot of critics, I mean, I don't know if this still stands true or not, but there's a lot of, movie critics who put horror in one very specific box and it's like, okay, this is a very specific thing of what horror needs. It needs this jump scare, it needs this
Mhm.
ghost, it needs this bad person. But I think horror is a lot more like intricate and nuanced than like the average layperson gives it credit for.
And
Absolutely.
I think it might be because like horror is as broad of a category as sour beer is. There's many different subgenres or variants or particular styles that you may like, but but there's also certain types that you don't like.
Sorry, James, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good, Claire, and I agree with you. I think that there's a very that and to your point, Max, like people go into these movies looking for things, right? And you're not going to have like film Twitter is going to be the going to be the group of people that like seeks out movies to give them bad ratings on movie places, or angry white guy black person was in a movie Twitter. Also, but you're going to have like the people that want to watch these kinds of horror movies, which are like cool, they're looking for some effects, they're looking for some good actors, they're looking for just fun in a horror movie. They're going to watch these movies, they're going to rate them highly. So you're also getting a little bit more of selective voting on these, which causes a little bit more of that disparate between critical and non-critical voting. So
Yeah. And in that sense, like there's film Twitter, and then there's also horror film Twitter, which is one of the most like we are championing these underrated or passed by movies of being like, yeah, this movie is maybe not the greatest from a whatever criteria you could rate a film off of, but it has these memorable performances, these memorable practical effects or scenes and stuff like that, and generally are much more positive aspects of looking at some of these movies, much like we do here, of being like, okay, yeah, this movie wasn't the greatest, but there's a lot of fun to be had in this. That's something that can be celebrated. These are the people who enjoy Howling 2 and or even 13 Ghosts or Event Horizon, you know, which Event
I
Horizon
love
is,
Event Horizon.
Anyone who says Event Horizon is
Yeah.
bad is an idiot. They're
That's
wrong.
a correct statement, James.
yeah,
You know, like
yeah.
Event Horizon is a special movie.
Yeah.
And like with film Twitter and like with everyone, and like I'm not trying to sound like a boomer over here where it's like giving everyone a platform is bad. Like I'm not trying to say that.
But
But I
what if
think-
it is?
Yeah, but it's like it's very much become like I have to know more than you and I have to like you like this for pretentious reasons. And just like
Yeah.
it's frustrating because movies like this where it's like, yeah, it's not going to win any awards, but it's entertaining and it's fun and it has an interesting backstory and like some of the cast chemistry is really good and you can see character development. Like it doesn't have to be an award-winning movie to be a legitimately good movie.
Not a movie
Right.
can be fun. Fun is okay.
Right, and man, we could talk so much about this topic. Yeah, like so I've talked at length about this stuff, perhaps not on the podcast before, but one of the most frustrating things to me about film Twitter, and I've said as much before, in that it's not exclusive to film Twitter. It's just this constant need to condescend.
Yes.
And to gatekeep into something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like it's just like mansplain central.
Yeah, it's no different than every other shitty fandom that group of people will complain about. It's just as bad as shitty Star Wars, shitty Marvel fans, it's just as bad. Like it's just this really toxic, just disingenuous attitude that is just so stupid and childish.
Yeah, like it's just like the gatekeeping about it is like awful. Like these are the kind of people where it's like, yes, I like 13 Ghosts, and like I get made fun of for that, or I'll be like, oh, well, I really also love The Shining, and it's like, oh yeah, tell me everything shitty Stanley Kubrick ever did on the set of The Shining.
Yeah,
Tell me how many times Jack Nicholson had to chop down that door.
Yeah,
yeah, no, it's stupid shit like that, and you know there's a much broader discussion here of what is art, but also what is entertainment, but also art is subjective, so you can like whatever you want, just don't be a dick about it. Like it's just don't be a dick. Let people like things. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's,
But
it's,
I mean,
it's really
but also
frustrating.
like when you say or use the term film Twitter, I immediately go to a male perspective or a male oriented term.
I think that's what
While
film Twitter is, though.
yeah, but horror film Twitter, I group that as a more feminine distinction. Like I know
yeah,
some guys that are in horror film Twitter, but I know way more women who are vocal about horror films.
yeah. As do I.
Yeah,
Right, but you know what we mean when we say film Twitter. We're not talking about that.
Yeah, but no, but I
Yeah.
think this is just like an interesting point of discussion when for maybe not everyone who's listening to this knows exactly what film Twitter and horror film Twitter is. I don't know, but I think it's just something interesting to bring up that we shouldn't glaze over. Maybe it's because like in horror films, the protagonist is typically female. It is a more female centric genre types of movies and such like that, as
Yeah, and I
opposed to your
think
more typical. Sorry,
yeah.
go
Oh
on.
no, you're good. And I would say, but like going along with that, building on that point, I think like for a long time, like the women in film obviously were seen as disposable, like they all die if they have sex or drink, whatever. And it very much became it seemed like a boys' club of types of movies that people liked. So I think with the advent of like these people having louder platforms and being able to connect with people who they might not necessarily connect with, with the advent of social media, like female horror fans found each other in a community and then were able to be loud about it, which I don't think necessarily would have happened otherwise. So that's why I think like horror film Twitter has such a female perspective, is because it's kind of against what normally was expected for a horror movie fan.
Yeah, for
Right.
sure. I on horror film Twitter specifically, yeah, I've noticed that it's generally just a more positive space than regular film Twitter and other Twitter spheres.
Which is delightfully ironic.
Yeah, right. But there are some things, and I don't want this to sound gatekeepy, especially, but some things that bother me about horror film Twitter that would bother me, I guess, on other
About
topics as
anything,
well.
yeah.
Yeah. It's just there seems to be reluctance to talk about what you dislike about movies. It's that like there are movies and films and scenes and scenarios that are just bad.
Yeah.
And it's like people will not criticize things just because it's a horror movie. It is impervious to finding
Yeah.
fault with it. It's impervious to finding fault with it, and I think that's an unhealthy approach to anything.
I think so too, because like
I would agree with that. I would also tie that into the largely female perspective that you see online from this. Women are targets of criticism and abuse way more than men are, and especially when talking about movies.
Yeah, and if you're vocal about something you don't like, you're seen as like a social justice warrior or a whiny bitch, or like there's a lot of nuance.
Yeah, I completely understand why you don't see that viewpoint as much. I've always been of the opinion that if you love something, you will point out its flaws and still love it because of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I love Twin Peaks. I love Twin Peaks to the point where I have a tattoo of iconography from the movie, or excuse me, from the series. Season 2 has just abysmal parts of that show, and like I will acknowledge it that it is a flawed work, because nothing is flawless, but that's what it is, and I accept that for.
But that's not the
what it
premise of
is.
your argument. I think that's where Ryan's going with that. That's not the premise of your entire existence, is to point out the flaws of things. That's a different idea in the idea behind it.
James was never cool. Not you, James. Other James. Claire and Ryan know what I mean.
I know what you're talking about. I've seen Twin Peaks.
Okay,
so yeah, and I'll circle back to our movie today. I think 13 Ghosts is a great gateway movie to horror.
Yeah,
I think if you've got someone who doesn't typically watch horror movies, I think this is a really solid. Always gauge your audience, of course, but this is a good one to maybe crack the seal with.
Yeah, and Ryan, I completely agree with you, because when I was younger, I didn't think I liked horror movies, and that's because like when I was really little, my uncle sat me down and made me watch like a bunch of Nightmare on Elm Street and like a bunch of. So I was like, horror. I was like, oh, I just hate scary movies. It's fine. And then like there were a few like in that same kind of time period that I think 13 Ghosts is one of them. I think Blair Witch Project was one of them, and I was like, oh, like this is also a horror movie, but I really like this.
Exactly. And that's that's the kind of approach I think that's too easily overlooked. Again, kind of leaning on your point, James, when people seem to exist for no other reason than to degrade and condescend and mock everything else. Is just when you're getting into horror, when you're getting into anything, find out what you like, try things out. You may not like any of it, you might like some of it, but you don't get there unless you try. So experiment, dip in, find what works for you. It's not that hard. Art is subjective. Just let people like stuff.
Yeah, and horror, I think I'm reticent to make this comparison, but I'm going to, because I feel like there's some kernel of truth to it. Like to me, other people seem to view horror almost as like a lot of people view like rap music or country music, where like without learning like the subgenres, automatically go, okay, I hate this. And they don't give it a shot, because like I was definitely one of those people growing up. I was like, I don't like rap music, I don't like country music, and then I was like, oh wait, Dolly Parton's the coolest person in the entire world. Like, oh wait, there's some nerdy rap that I'm super into.
Right.
It's all just finding the thing that resonates with you, whether it's one thing or the other. And this is a perfect segue, I guess, into View Again, Brew Again. Subjectively or objectively, I don't know, whatever the fuck. Would we watch these, or would we watch this movie again? Would we drink this beer again? Ryan, I'm gonna go to you first, because you've pretty much given your opinion, I think, on the View Again. So, what do you think about the Brew Again? Unless you have anything else to say about the viewing part.
I'll leave my view again at that. It's the answer is yes. For view again, brew again. Yeah, this is fucking great. This off to a strong start in 21 here. This is going to be a tough one to top. But I just want to read some of the flavors because I don't think I did prior. So this is once again Cyberpunk from City Built over in Grand Rapids, and this is a mango passion fruit gummy bear sour with fruit juice and lactose, and it is absolutely fucking phenomenal. Again, everything from the flavors to the art, super damn good. Thank you, Max.
You are welcome, Ryan.
That's
I
all
will
got.
go next. I'll start with the brew again. Yes, barley wines are very hit or miss with me, but this is just all around very wonderful. The Behemoth from Three Floyds, not too malty, very drinkable. This is a 10.5% ABV, so it'll get
buddy.
you there.
Oh,
Yep.
jeez.
Yep. Kind of a caramely finish to it, which I do enjoy that flavor. A little bit of some fruit notes, but that's to be expected from the style. So yeah, I'm very much glad I picked this bottle up on a whim. Damn you, Three Floyds! Please distribute to Michigan. You're not that far away. As far as the view again goes, I will also say yes. I remember growing up, this movie was on like TBS fairly regularly because it was just, I don't know. It's an hour and a half. It fits in well with the half an hour of commercials you would expect with the movie. But I had never actually seen all of it from start to finish until earlier this year. This year being April 2020, and I was pleasantly surprised.
Is that when we watched it with the double feature with Ghost Ship?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Or April or May, something like that. What is time?
Yeah.
Yeah. The fact that it's the same director just kind of makes that double feature even better.
Yeah, that was why I picked it.
Very good, very good. But yeah, it's entertaining. It's got some very nice practical effects, very good makeup, a few memorable performances, some not so much. Very much as a product of its time. Just looking at the characters, you're like, okay, yep, this is late '90s, early aughts, which I feel like kind of was like the sweet spot of horror movies that have stood the test of time, kind of, or definitely still talked about with regularity. Because I think back to earlier in the decade, and you're still on the endless sequels of slasher films.
Yeah, it's really like the pre-Scream, post-Scream universe.
Exactly.
And I can wax poetic about that all day, but that's not this podcast.
We will do a different podcast about that topic. We need to get Whitney on that one.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, it's entertaining. It's an hour and a half. It's fun. If you're of the RPG playing kind of folk and you're playing with a bunch of people who have not watched it, just watch this movie and run this movie as a scenario. It'll work. They'll never know.
Yeah, it will.
There's a number of movies that fit that category. Particularly Prince of Darkness is my favorite. But I've made everybody watch that movie, so I can't do that game anymore. But this movie definitely scratches an itch. I don't know why, but I've been trying to get into more of the supernatural kind of things lately. I can't really tell you why, but it's weird because like a lot of movies like this, or horror movies in general, typically come out this first quarter or the first quarter of each year. So even though we diverted from our plan, this was it feels seasonally appropriate, kind of.
Right. If real quick aside, if you want an excellent supernatural horror movie that was just released like a month ago, check out The Dark and the Wicked. It's fucking excellent. It's topping a lot of horror folks' top horror movie of this year and of the past several years. I thought it was very good. So give that a check. The Dark and the Wicked.
Cool. Can you give us a 5-second elevator pitch on that?
Yeah. So a family that lives in somewhere in rural America has a family member come down ill. So other family members come to town to kind of help out with the sickness, and then things start to go really off the rails at the family farm. And I'm gonna leave it at that. But it is damn good. It's done by the guy who did The Strangers.
Okay.
Which is a hell of a movie as well. So.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Claire.
Hello. Brew again? I mean, I just drank a ginger beer, so yes, I will drink it again. I will continue to drink them. I have a bunch of them in my fridge because I find them delicious and refreshing. But I mean, nothing new and exciting there. I think my view again answer is pretty obvious. I mean, like I said, this is kind of a good gateway horror movie. I'm usually not as much into the supernaturally horrors. I prefer like a realistic thriller. But I find something about this I find just really, really fascinating. I love the set design. I love the pacing.
Oh, the sets. Yeah.
I mean, obviously I love Matthew Lillard. I like the family dynamic. I just think it's a really neat movie. It's a good fluff movie. Like, it's not gonna break any boundaries, but if I'm like, I feel like I'm in the mood for something a little spooky but nothing too heavy, like it's a good
Yeah.
go-to one. So yeah, I will definitely watch this probably 10 more times in my life, maybe more.
That seems like a safe assumption.
Ideally in a double feature with Ghost Ship.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think I prefer Ghost Ship over these two. I think it's close, but for me, I think I would rather watch Ghost Ship again over this one.
I don't think that's like a wrong answer either.
I would
yeah.
agree with that.
Really good movies.
Yeah, for sure. I would agree that I enjoyed Ghost Ship a little bit, just from like a plot perspective. It seems a little bit of a tighter narrative because you don't find out until like the very end of the movie like what is actually going on with this. So
yeah, I think the characters are better overall in that movie. Of course, it is lacking in the Lillard category, but
if Matthew Lillard was in Ghost Ship, it'd be a perfect movie.
Ghost Ship remake.
Yeah. If I ever won like a stupid amount of money, I think I would do a shot-for-shot remake of Ghost Ship where Matthew Lillard plays every character.
Oh, I could see Matthew Lillard playing the damned guy. I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
That's the perfect casting for that. I think. Go listen to our Ghost Ship episode. It's fun.
Yeah.
James, bring us home.
Brew again, yeah. I mean, because I brought it back, so yes, obviously. And View again, yeah. I like this movie. This movie strikes the right balance between universe building and 90 minutes, and also following its own rules. I think this is a perfect example of if you put glasses on Superman, he's Clark Kent kind of deal, where it's just like, look, you put Latin in windows that are ghost windows, and they work. And they're just like, yep, we go with it. They work through the whole movie. There's no, well, this ghost has super secret ghost powers that fixes that. They don't pull any of that, right? They live within their own boundaries.
It's a very ghost movie.
Yeah.
I mean, they live within their own world. They create an interesting world in a short period of time, and they play in it. And I think that's why I like this movie a whole lot. Is that the stories about the fun is about the characters interacting with a universe where you understand it.
Yeah,
it's not.
I'll say that there isn't any rule breaking. Like the rules are established from that first scene, which you don't realize because it's the first scene, and they stick to them until the end.
Yeah, it's not one of those things where it's like, oh, everything's fine, and then it's all building, and the ghosts break the rules 3 or 4 times, and it's everyone picking up the pieces after that. It's literally like these people are put in a terrible situation and use the rules to their advantage and make their way out. So, which is they're overcoming the ghost, which is a good way to tell this. I think in that case, it feels very, like I said, this game or this movie has some like game stuff to it, right? Like the whole house feels very video gamey. There's almost puzzle aspects to it in some cases, and they all work. They all make sense. So I like this. I'm good. I agree with you though, Ryan. I'd rather watch Ghost Ship.
Yeah. And I think both movies, maybe more so 13 Ghosts, it feels like someone who likes horror kind of sat down and was like, you know what? I've got this kind of cool idea for, it's like a short story or it could be a neat horror movie. And just played around with some cool, neat ideas. Nothing is overly developed or convoluted. It's just enough. I think it does that well. And real quickly, going back to Claire, it's a little lighter fare. And I mentioned it's a good gateway horror movie, but this for me has been a welcome palate cleanser for horror in the past couple of days. Because
Yeah.
within the last week, I have watched the originals of Last House on the Left.
Oh yeah, I
spit
saw
up-
you post about that.
Yep. I Spit on Your Grave, the French film Inside, and also the original of Martyrs. So I needed something a little lighter because fuck me.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
Great
you might have to go
films,
into the
but
deep end,
Jesus.
Ryan.
Woof. But yeah, this is not those movies, but it is still a fun movie. Yikes.
Yeah. Deep end of horror movies for sure on that part.
Mhm.
But you're the most devoted, I think, of all of us in
Mhm.
regards to that. Like,
Correct.
I remember you mentioning to me once from like, oh, I'm gonna watch. I can't recall the title, but it's just supposed to be just like brutally violent. And I'm just like, when you use the term brutally violent,
Brutally violent.
I'm like, that's
Yeah.
gonna be a trip. Like, like I'm good
yeah.
with violence in films. Like if it's like comically violent, like if you're watching Dead Alive, yeah, like that's
Mhm.
fine. There's certain things where I'm just like, no, I don't need to see that. Like, I don't need to.
Like I don't need to watch a Serbian film. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, they're making a 4K release of that this year.
Oh, that's gonna be a no from me.
I actually haven't seen that one. Well, it's on the list. Yeah, man. My top 3 toughest watches. Two of them are Inside and Martyrs, and so Martyrs has been the hardest watch I think I've ever sat through. A close second is Inside for sure. They're very close, and then actually is the 2013 remake of Evil Dead is absolutely brutal.
Yeah,
It's a rad fucking movie, but it is brutal.
I've heard that, and just from watching the trailer of that movie, like you get an idea of like this is what you're
Mhm.
signing up for. It's weird though that even Sam Raimi's like, yeah, I went a little bit too far on the original one. There's like, I shouldn't have done that tree scene or a couple things because there's
Hmm.
there's a couple scenes, not just the scene with the tree that are like
Yeah.
hard to watch. One involves
Right.
a pencil.
Yeah,
Alright.
it's those are kind of the movies where it takes me back to Ryan watching movies in your basement where I'm curled up in a ball and like watching through a scarf and through like the crack in my knees.
Oh,
Yeah.
so glorious, and I can't wait to do it again.
Love that memory. Love that memory so much.
That was Annabelle Creation?
Annabelle Creation.
Solid flick. Yeah,
I don't
super
do
good.
dolls well. That's one of my trigger points. I have some very niche like things that very much scare me. So sorry, I'm gonna go off on a tangent for a second.
Do it.
But to me personally, Jordan Peele's Us was one of the scariest movies I've ever seen in my entire life because I have an irrational fear of those mirror mazes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Like, so I don't know why. Like, I don't know how it started. It's not like I ever had a bad experience in one. But the minute I started watching that movie, like, I felt my heart rate just climbing. When they're like doing like the little climax in the mirror maze, like in the flashback scene, like
Right.
I was white knuckle gripping my chair, like half hyperventilating and about to cry.
Jesus.
That's
Like,
awesome.
it's a very niche fear, but like Jordan Peele got it for me, like spot on, and like I was horrified.
I don't like scenes of people getting blood drawn.
Mhm.
That's always been like difficult for me to watch. I don't know if it goes back to the time when before I became diabetic, I was like on and off sick for like a month, and that was the first time I had to have my blood drawn, and shortly thereafter, um, I found out I was diabetic or whatnot, or it's just like the physical weakness that you feel like after getting your blood drawn, and I just like
Yeah.
the association with that, or scenes involving like hands, like really getting like disfigured
Huh.
and stuff like that is kind of hard for me to watch sometimes. But
What about feet? What about the hobbling scene in Misery?
I haven't
Whoa.
seen all of it, but I know exactly what you're talking about, and that's not as bad. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, hands I feel like are, I don't know. I don't know.
You know who has hands? The devil, and he uses them for holding. Dewey Cox reference number 2.
Gotta hit that quota.
Yeah. If I make it 5 in a recording, they start sponsoring me, so I can get some
There you go.
SponCon.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think that wraps up this episode of Good Brews, Bad Views. Thank you, Claire, for coming on last minute of the podcast.
You know that's always what I'm gonna do, especially if King Lillard's involved.
If I think if you ever made a Matthew Lillard documentary directed by Claire Higginbottom, it'd be titled "In the Name of the King."
Yeah, obviously that. What a delightful afternoon.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, for listening and making it this far within our silly little podcasts. As always, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and wherever fine podcasts are found. Please leave us a rating and review on your podcast streaming service of choice. People can find us, and we can inflict some cinematic suffering upon them, and they can make suggestions of what we should watch, and we'll have fun with that.
Don't forget the Patreon.
Well, yes, I'm getting to that now.
I just wanted to be involved.
All right, okay. If you like what we're doing here at Good Brews, Bad Views, please consider supporting our Patreon at www.patreon.com/goodbrewsbadviews, where you can vote on a monthly poll for one of the episodes we do every month, as well as having our eternal gratitude and getting some additional content here and there.
Indeed.
The Max Musings.
Yep, the Max Musings. Plus, you'll have our eternal gratitude, which probably is the best reward that one could ask for.
Plus, you'll be in a really cool club that involves me.
And other people.
I know, but I'm the one here.
Yes, that is
Claire
true.
is the head of the club.
I am the head.
You are the head of the club. You are the first patron.
So pay us money to be subservient to Claire. That's what we're getting to.
Yeah, I'm into like financial domination now.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the 2021 vibe you're going for.
Yeah.
More power to you. Send us our hate mail at goodbrewsbadviews@gmail.com. And you can find us on all the usual social media sites, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that jazz. Find us online at www.goodbrewsbadviews.com. And as always, please watch
and drink
responsibly.
Adios all. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.